Big Brother's coming to get you.
The boy I would like to couple up with is...
The nation has voted and I'm about to reveal the winner of the X Factor.
Now, the show that relives reality TV through a different lens.
Real people, real stories, real life.
This is Behind the Reality. Welcome to Behind the Reality, the show that takes a closer look into the world of reality TV from a minority perspective. My name's Hayden, and joining me for this episode is my co-host Akudzwa.
On today's show, you'll be hearing from women, people of colour, and minorities from all kinds of different programs. You get to find out the truth behind the reality as we break down the industry from the inside.
Almost everything you'll hear during the show has been recorded and produced during lockdown. We hope you're keeping safe and will enjoy what we have in store for you throughout this episode.
So, stay locked into the show to listen to a number of fascinating stories from experts, industry professionals, and contestants on some of the UK's most popular programmes.
We'll be getting an insight into what it's like to be a black woman on one of the biggest reality shows on TV.
If anyone asks me, what is your biggest fear on Love Island, it's hands down, I thought people were going to say this girl's too black. Like, she's not even good looking, she's too dark.
Discover how reality TV actually improved the quality of living for one of its contestants.
I started to live again. It was amazing. Even though I didn't win, it still changed my life. It's amazing.
And find out how it can also have a negative impact.
Honestly, the whole reality TV industry is full of fake people. I'd advise anyone that applies for a reality TV show, think about what you're doing, because if I could go back and decline it, I would.
We'll also be giving you a blast from the past as we revisit the emergence of reality television at the start of the 21st century.
At that point, I wasn't aware that I was the first Asian woman ever to go in the house. I was too ahead of my time. People didn't get a strong Indian woman.
All this and more to look forward to here on Behind the Reality.
You're listening to Behind the Reality. Real people, real stories, real life.
So, what is reality TV and how exactly do we define it? The genre has expanded so much to the point where it has become a wide range of different categories and styles.
In this programme, we'll be exploring reality shows that focus on ordinary people and are continuously filmed with the primary intention of entertaining audiences. This differs from documentaries and news programmes, which are often standalone broadcasts.
So now that we know what to expect from today's show, it's time to hear from a few people who know a thing or two about what it's really like to be a reality contestant. These top tips should help you in deciding whether auditioning for a show is the right thing for you.
My name is Biggs and I was a contestant of Love Island Series 6. The best thing is just to be yourself. TV shows like Love Island, they like people being consistent. So if you're that goofy guy at the start of the audition, they would like you to be like that on the show. Like, they like consistency. There's no point in me acting, oh, I'm this big bad boy, I get all the girls, and then I'm in the villa, I'm nothing like that.
My name's Olivia Durando and I was a contestant on Shipwrecked 2019. Do your research, look at the impact that it can have on you and think, are you strong enough mentally? Because I am the strongest person mentally, but that broke me, and that was a minor television programme. So just sit down and have a good think about it.
So my name is Tomasz Vania, and I was a housemaid on the final series of Big Brother UK in 2018. I would just say embrace your flaws. Like, when I auditioned for Big Brother, I said, listen, I snore so bad, nobody will be able to sleep, and I own it. Embrace your flaws, maybe they will be your strength.
Hey guys, my name is Alicia White, a runner-up on Britain's Next Top Model, and I also appeared on America's Next Top Model in 2012. My piece of advice is this: get to know yourself before you go on a show, because they're going to mold your character. So stand firm in your character. And remember, whatever reality TV show you're going on, it is a game. It's not real, it's a game. Play the game and play it good.
My name is Narinda Kaur and I was a contestant on Big Brother 2001. If you're happy with your life and you're very content, don't do it. But if you want to change your life, do it. Because it will definitely change your life. But if you're happy with your life right now and you are happy with where it's going and you know where you're going, don't do it. It won't work out well.
Hi, my name is Olivia Butler-Fagbohun. I was a participant on BBC Three's House Share in 2019. If I was going to give advice to someone that was going to be on reality TV, 100% be yourself, but also be aware of the wider impacts of the show and how you're portrayed and how that will have a knock-on effect to people that watch it.
It's great hearing the advice that a few of those familiar favourites had to give. But what happens if your audition is up against thousands of others?
And the BAFTA goes to Love Island.
In 2018, ITV2 set new records when it received over 80,000 applications for its fourth series of the popular summer show, Love Island.
Oh, here we go. I've got a text!
The figure was more than double that of those applying for prestige universities like Oxford and Cambridge, which typically receive around 36,000 applications per year.
With another batch of sexy singletons being lined up to take part in the upcoming series, the show continues to be a popular choice for those seeking stardom and fame.
But how does it actually feel to be one of the lucky Love Islanders chosen to enter the villa? And what's life truly like for a contestant on one of Britain's most talked about reality TV shows?
Hi, I'm Savannah Darnell. I was a contestant on Love Island Series 4. I never ever thought about going on a reality TV show, and I never thought about going on Love Island. But that year I was actually wanting to do something crazy and so out of my comfort zone. So I said, let's see where the journey takes me, and it happened to take me right down to the end where I was walking into the villa.
Savannah was part of the famous Casa Amor twist in 2018, which saw a bunch of new bombshells dropped into the Love Island villa to try and tempt the original islanders away from their current partners.
I was told that I was going in at the beginning by the producers. They said I was probably going in around like the second bunch of girls after the originals. So they flew me out at the beginning to go on lockdown with the originals. And then I ended up not going in till Casa Amor.
Well, I can reveal that we've sent the boys away on a little mini break to Casa Amor. They're going to spend the next few days getting to know 6 new girls.
Are you joking?
And I had to wait like 4 weeks back at home watching this show, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm going on anymore. I don't feel like it's going to happen. But it did happen, and whatever happened for a reason, but it was just irritating the way they went around it.
Casa Amor is sometimes criticised for trying to fit too much into the episodes at once, which can often lead to new arrivals getting less airtime in the edit than those who have been there since the start of the series. This was a problem that Savannah encountered during her time on the show.
I was disappointed at the beginning, to be honest, about my screen time. I feel like Casa Amor is a big disadvantage. Just people don't have the full time to see your personality, what you're like. But yeah, at the beginning it was rubbish to see that I hardly got shown, and I was like, but I did this, I did that, and I was speaking to this guy, and this happened, and you just didn't see anything, and I find that crazy.
The programme has also been accused of putting too much pressure on its contestants to look a certain way and creating unrealistic beauty standards for its viewers.
I didn't feel any pressure. I was very, very nervous, but I wouldn't call it pressure. I'd say it was just nerves, and I was scared to be on national TV. To be honest, yeah, I did feel like I had to look a certain way before I went in. Like I was like, I need to lose weight, I need to look like this, I need my eyelashes done, I need my nails done. But I think also that's me as well. Like I wanted to look good, not just because like, oh, these unreal girls. But I do think they do choose very, very attractive people on that show. So it is a bit of a high standard. You're like, oh God, what are the other girls going to look like?
Love Island has been criticised for its aftercare system and how well its contestants are looked after once they have left the show.
There was aftercare there, it was available. I think at the time I was in denial that I needed aftercare. I didn't think that I needed therapy, I didn't think that I needed anything, but I really should have gone with the therapist and spoken about everything because I did need help after it. There's a lot of trolls that go to my appearance and just write tweets about people's appearances and hair and body and face. But the aftercare is there. I just think that people should use it.
Despite her lack of airtime and short stay in the villa, Savannah still receives some of the perks that most Love Island contestants experience once their time on the show ends.
I got a lot of free clothes and free gym gear, and it was crazy. Like as soon as I came back home, my mum was always opening the door and there was another package, and I was having to do loads of Instagram stories and Instagram posts and Pretty Little Thing and Boohoo. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting clothes for free. Like I never thought this would happen. It was a bit crazy actually, because obviously I wasn't on it for that long, so I didn't expect people to be recognising me and seeing me and being like, Savannah, oh my God, it's Savannah. But that all happened and I found it crazy. So yeah, it was a very different world.
Savannah's unique experience is just one small glimpse into the Love Island lifestyle, and with the show's popularity showing no signs of slowing down, it seems the Love Island Fame Factory will be generating many more superstars for years to come.
Behind the Reality
with Hayden
and Tukudzwa.
While many participants use reality shows like Love Island as a vehicle to spawn their careers as media personalities or boost their positions as social influencers, not everyone comes away from their show wanting to be in the limelight.
Sometimes reality television can have a negative impact on people's lives and can have a knock-on effect towards how they deal with it afterwards.
Shipwrecked is back!
In 2019, E4 recommissioned their popular reality show Shipwrecked after a 7-year hiatus. The original show saw a group of young people living on a deserted tropical island together whilst competing in various challenges to win a grand prize.
Congratulations, Tigers! You have won Shipwrecked and the cash prize of £50,000.
Shipwrecked was a hit with young viewers, and E4 planned to bring it back in an attempt to reconnect with a new generation of youths. However, for one contestant, the editing put them at the centre of a number of confrontational storylines, which painted a different picture to how they experienced it on the island.
My name's Olivia Durando, and I was a contestant on Shipwrecked 2019.
Liv was initially approached via social media to appear on the show and had to go through a lengthy casting process before making it onto the programme.
Someone actually messaged me via Instagram. He works for the production company. So I thought, oh, do you know what, why not? The audition process was quite harsh. Most of my questions were based around being brought up on a council estate. It was more about, most girls are young and pregnant at my age. Why am I not? Did I get kicked out of school? Have they ever been arrested? My second interview was more based around that, which I wasn't comfortable with. And I'm very vocal, so I was very honest with them and said to them, I don't feel comfortable with these questions. So that's when I first got a bit wary about it. And then about a week later, I had a phone call saying I need to pack for 2 months. Basically, say goodbye to your family. You need to go and get your vaccinations for where you're going to fly. We're going to send you everything over. You've got a chaperone. Here's your train time. And literally that was it. I just had to go.
Editing can often be criticised within reality television for not reflecting a true version of events. This is something that Liv recognised very early on during the build-up to the premiere.
So we've got the first argument on the first episode where I'm arguing with Big P, and I say, does she want me to knock her out?
Does she want me to knock her out? Because I will knock you out.
Most of that was cut to make me look like the bad guy.
Get your hand out my face! Get your hand out my face!
Which I did not appreciate whatsoever.
Oh my God, I want to knock her out!
Just don't you can't rise to this.
So that was where I was just like, this is quite upsetting, because I got a lot of abuse and it was kind of like no one was there for me to help me or defend me, or, it was kind of just left at that. I'm the bad guy, I'll take all this abuse and then it's done with, which I was really upset with Channel 4 about.
Because of her central storylines, Liv received a lot of attention after the show aired.
It got to the point where on the third episode where the show came out, I wouldn't get out the car at Nando's with my friends. I was crying my eyes out because I didn't want to be seen in public. I've recently been on antidepressants, I've been to the doctors. Even now, everywhere I go, someone's got something to say about me. I had someone trying to blackmail me on Instagram 2 weeks ago for £5,000. I've had a lot of drama from it. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Because reality TV, people think it's a trend. It's not a trend, it's real people's lives.
Taking part in the show has made Liv consider deleting social media for good.
It's not for me. It is not for me. I delete my social media all the time. I don't want people tracking me, and I don't want people really knowing what I'm doing. I'm actually trying to come off social media at the minute and have a detox.
Now, Liv works as a care worker and plans on avoiding the reality scene completely.
I would never do reality TV again, just because of the impact that it had on me. And as I say, it's not going to be the same for everyone, but I don't want to put myself through something like that again.
Given the choice, Liv would have reconsidered her decision to take part in the show.
The whole reality TV industry is full of fake people, fake producers, fake production companies. Everybody is just really sly, really wormy. Everyone just wants to use you for what they think you've got when you might actually have nothing. I'd advise anyone that applies for a reality TV show, think about what you're doing, because if I could go back and decline it, I would, any day.
Liv's negative experience is one that does not always get discussed, but is something that is very real and continues to be an issue within the reality TV industry today.
The story you have just heard is one of many from today's show that will highlight the ups and downs of being in the public eye.
As with any life-changing decision, it's important to make sure that you are fully prepared for what could happen before signing up. Should you need them, there are many resources available online that can help with making the right decision for you.
There's still lots more to come here on Behind the Reality. But before we move on to the next part of the show, test if your reality knowledge is up to scratch with one of our quick-fire quiz questions.
You're listening to Behind the Reality.
Hi, I'm Alicia White from Britain and America's Next Top Model. And my question to you is, when did America's Next Top Model first premiere? Is it A, 1999, B, 2003, or C, 2009? The correct answer is B, 2003.
The technicalities involved in making reality programs play quite a significant part in its existence.
Productions employ TV psychologists to protect the well-being of its contestants, and many professionals have used reality TV as a way to analyse human behaviour.
The job is typically only assigned to those who are well qualified for the role.
My name's Emma Kenny and I'm one of the UK's most well-known TV psychologists.
Emma uses her psychology background for a variety of different television programmes, offering her expertise to productions, participants and viewers.
In front of the camera, I'm contracted to ITV. I'm this morning's agony aunt. But behind scenes, I am doing things like psychological evaluations, which means that one of the things that I have to do is make sure that if you are going into a television show, that you understand the absolute reality of what that can mean.
Potential participants have to go through a rigorous screening process before they can appear on a show.
My job is to look at what I call red flags. And a red flag means that they might have had alcohol abuse, eating disorders. Have they got any criminal pending convictions? That's a problem that becomes a legal issue if we put somebody in front of the screen who's got a pending court case. But it's not my job to say you don't have a right to go in it. It's my job to find out whether they are okay to consent. I've done my job when I know that people go away thinking, I don't know whether I want to do this. That's good, because that means they're really reflecting on it.
Emma's personal approach to conducting psychological evaluations often makes her hesitant to work on reality shows.
So it's not that they necessarily put vulnerable people purposely on screen. In fact, they don't really want to do that. It's not in their interest to do that, with respect. It's in their interest to get people through in a healthy way. I am more stringent because I ask more questions, and I am also somebody who would rather be unpopular amongst TV production companies as the go-to person, so that I could just work with the ones that I know are going to do a good job. I just don't think that I could knowingly put somebody on a TV show where the ramifications could be, in my opinion, catastrophic.
Hidden meanings can also be attributed to the involvement of particular contributors.
I think what reality TV does is it gives people this amazing opportunity to pursue their dreams, and I don't have an issue with that. What I don't think it prepares people for is the reality. If you want to be famous, you want to be popular, you're often doing that because in you have this desperate need to be validated, and you have an insecurity about that, and you just want people to like you. So you go on these shows hoping that you're going to fundamentally get that very thing that you crave more than anything, but of course it doesn't do that. And how can you possibly know how resilient you are until you're facing that extreme?
Love Island contestant Biggs praised ITV for making sure he was well prepared and for giving him professional support afterwards.
See, going into Love Island, you need to have the mindset of whatever happens, happens. So if you get famed from this, cool. If you don't, the main thing is you got that opportunity. So for me to even be considered, I don't take anything for granted. Especially ITV production, they always check up on you like every week. It's a blessing.
On the other hand, Alicia White had a different experience when she competed on both Britain and America's Next Top Model 10 years ago.
I didn't receive any aftercare in America's or Britain's Next Top Model, none at all. Britain and America's Next Top Model don't know if I'm alive, dead, living. They have no clue. Personally, in America's Next Top Model, I wasn't myself anyway. I was suffering from clinical depression when I went into that show, but they still allowed me to go on the show anyway. And the fact that they ignored that hurts my feelings until this day. But obviously, I'm older now and I realise that they have a show to produce and money is more important than anyone's mental health. So I don't know why I expected them to care.
Psychology has also been applied to study whether reality shows can reflect attitudes in wider society.
The idea that TV is meant to be some kind of moral compass is distorted. TV isn't. It's a representation of different areas and elements of life. And this idea that people are now colourblind or sexuality blind or everything's equal is absolute rubbish. And I know this sounds really awful, but you don't just have to equal them, but you have to almost be better by miles than the white participants to win. when you see Love Island, for example, you get these incredibly stunning women and men from VMA background, and with respect, they don't do anywhere near as well. And whether you want to acknowledge that that's an inherent issue, TV absolutely represents that.
Many critics often wonder how genuine the current state of reality TV actually is.
The evidence from research, and there's quite a lot of research into this, is that for a period of time people can fake it, usually, for a number of weeks, for example. I think it's hard when they're now so scripted. If you've seen it, you know the kind of characters that you've got to be. So even though people will always fall into traps, I do think that people can fake it, yeah, I do. And that's something was lost in reality television.
This rare insight into the thought processes behind it all adds another layer of substance to what is an already complex genre of television.
On the topic of social studies, Big Brother is often regarded as one of the biggest global phenomenons to be spawned by reality television.
The UK series launched in the year 2000 and aired 19 series in total before its cancellation. Despite the show's longevity, it wasn't until the final series in 2018 when the programme cast its first ever gender-fluid housemate.
My name is Tomasz Bania, and I was a housemaid on the final series of Big Brother UK in 2018. Gender fluid for me is just like throwing everything out the window that people think about gender and sex. Sometimes I feel a little bit more like a girl, sometimes I feel a little bit more like a man. It's just being free of all those expectations.
Tomas's inclusion in the 19th series was an important step towards educating British audiences about gender identities that often go underrepresented in the media.
And I didn't really feel any pressure to represent gender fluid community because I didn't think about it that way. All I thought about was being myself, and somehow people identified with my way of doing things, just like wearing what you want, being whoever you want to be. If you want to put on makeup, you want to put on makeup. If you want to be like super scruffed, then you can be super scruffed. It's just like being yourself and being free of standard gender societal rules, That was my philosophy.
Tomas made history by not only being the first gender-fluid housemate to take part in the show, but also becoming the first Polish immigrant to participate in Big Brother UK.
I did have a lot of backlash from Polish community for being gender fluid, and it's frowned upon in Poland. But I don't think that it was any factor in British public seeing me and voting and any of that. So that makes me feel much, much better.
Another powerful element was the promotion of body diversity.
People coming together and messaging me, and actually not even about gender fluidity, but also about being plus size and owning it. I was super heavy when I was in Big Brother, and people were like, well, that's great, you own it and you don't care. And I relate to that. That was more common than gender identity.
And you've lost weight as well, haven't you?
Yeah, over
2.5 stone.
2.9.
Oh my gosh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Throughout the show, Tomas was labelled by many contestants and viewers as a game player. However, the desire to win the prize money partly stemmed from something much deeper.
Well, the British citizenship was always my dream, but it wasn't the main reason. I just thought if I could win, that's where the prize money would go in part. It would have been nice, don't get me wrong, but now I have a settled status, so it's good enough.
Taking part in the reality programme also had a positive impact on Tomas's health and medical status.
I didn't know I had the actual medical condition. I had a problem and I didn't know that.
After taking medical advice for snoring, earlier today Tomas left the Big Brother house to see a specialist.
As soon as I got into Big Brother, they were able to diagnose me with sleep apnea, and then they funded my trips to the private clinic, bought me the breathing machine.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. I want to see my housemates' faces when I don't make a sound during the night, Big Brother.
Will that help with your breathing then?
Yeah.
Right, wicked.
It just changed my life. Even though I didn't win, I started to live again. It was amazing.
With a lot of recent negativity surrounding reality programmes, Tomas's uplifting encounter with Big Brother is a positive reminder of how reality TV can also be used for good.
You're listening to Behind the Reality.
With Hayden
and Tukudzwa.
In a time where people are going on lockdown and limiting their face-to-face interactions in response to the global COVID-19 pandemic, many people around the world are self-isolating and having to communicate with others through screens and devices. But what if this bizarre concept was something that already existed in the world of reality TV?
In 2018, Channel 4 took the idea of self-isolation to a whole new level with the launch of the new reality TV program.
The Circle is back. The game where anyone can be anyone.
Described as a game based around social media, contestants live in the same building throughout the series, but are never allowed to meet each other until the game is over.
The show allows its players to create profiles that the other players will see, and contestants interact with one another through a social platform called The Circle.
However, not everyone is who they claim to be. Some players take on a catfish persona, which sees them using fake pictures and stories by pretending to be a different person in order to win the game.
As we mentioned earlier, the audio for this next segment was produced during quarantine, so we recommend turning up your volume if you're keen to hear about what it's really like to have cameras filming your every move in isolation.
Hi, I'm Brooke Odenbaku from Series 2 of The Circle.
Brooke competed on the show in 2019, where she played the game as her real self and had to deal with other players that were not being completely honest about who they were.
It's funny because everyone who I thought was a catfish was real and everyone who I thought was real was a catfish. The whole experience was just crazy.
I'm a builder from Hampshire looking for my Miss Right. Is this Tinder? Honey, you're here for 100k. Let's be real.
With questions often being raised over how real reality TV actually is, the catfishing element of The Circle was something that had an impact on her decision to take part in the programme.
The catfishing concept of the show was what intrigued me about it because it was like, oh, like you never know who you're talking to.
Circle message. Hi Tim, I loved talking to you too. Smiley face emoji. Send.
But when you are in the circle, you suspect everyone. You become catfish hunter and you just suspect everyone of being a catfish.
As well as having to deal with deceptive contestants, Brooke also had to navigate being the only black woman who was competing in The Circle as her real self.
I did think some people might have prejudgments about who I am based on my profile picture as well as my bio.
Circle open, Brooke's profile, please.
I tried to be playful and whatever, so something about, oh, I may look bougie, but I'm far from it. But, you know, some people may have taken that the wrong way, especially if they didn't know what bougie meant.
I don't really know what bougie is. Is that a French word?
Something about that bio, screaming fishy to me.
I'm not angry anyway, but I was more concerned that if I was to get really angry about something, I'd be portrayed as, oh, the typical angry black woman.
As the contestants lived in self-isolation for the full series, adjusting back to the real world was a significant change for the participants of the show.
It was very strange getting back to the real world after living in isolation for so long, after not having social media. To come back and see memes and gifs of myself was very odd. So it was really weird to be back in the real world. But then after that, I adjusted pretty quickly. But it was very intense for the first few weeks and months after the show.
With the future still uncertain, the prospect of even more reality shows being built around self-isolation seems more likely than ever before.
Stick with us here on Behind the Reality, as we've got plenty more exclusive insights lined up just for you.
You're listening to Behind the Reality.
Hi, I'm Savannah Darnell. I was a contestant on Love Island Series 4. Which Spanish location is the hit TV series Love Island filmed in? Is it A, Ibiza, B, Madrid, or C, Mallorca? The correct answer is C, Mallorca.
The topic of mental health and wellness is something that has been discussed for a number of years. But when it comes to reality TV, the intense environment and heightened emotions can lead to serious consequences for those involved.
Recently, an alarming number of deaths have been associated with reality television and the effect that it can have on individuals. A magnifying glass has been placed over the duty of care that productions have to give to its participants, and whether enough support is offered both during and after filming.
The issue is one that has an impact on all of those involved, both in front of the camera and behind it.
My name's Lauren and I worked as a casting researcher for ITV on Jeremy Kyle for 7 months, and I was there right up until the show ended, and obviously the whole inquest about reality TV stemmed from the Jeremy Kyle show ending.
Lauren's former role as a casting researcher is one of the many jobs within the TV industry that comes with a lot of pressure.
If you don't cast that show and if you don't have a contributor to come, you don't have a show. I think a lot of people in TV are affected by mental health because of that reason. It's very stressful and people don't realise that. I mean, you'd go in at 9 and the day before studio when you were busy, you wouldn't leave till about 3 a.m. in the morning most days. And I think that does take a massive toll on people as well. Like, you don't realise how hard it is. People think it's glamorous, but it's not at all.
In May 2019, ITV took the decision to cancel the Jeremy Kyle show after the death of one of its participants.
So we were told about the death of a contributor who'd come on the show the week before the show was actually cancelled. So we kind of had a bit of an insight that it was being suspended and taken off air for now, but I don't think any of us really thought that it was ever going to actually be cancelled forever. And then we were called in on the Monday to be told that it was going to be cancelled forever, and it was pretty upsetting for most people because there was a lot of staff who had been there like since the show first started, and they'd worked their way up. They'd been there for like 15 years, so it was pretty shocking, to be honest.
As a result of this incident, the British government launched an inquiry into reality TV and its welfare procedures.
The situation that happened with Jeremy Kyle, it was horrific and it's really sad, but I feel that they did everything that they could have done at the time to make sure that guests left happy. We had mental health nurses, Graham, the psychiatrist, and a load of other teams that would help them with the aftercare. But I guess when you're in a situation like that and when you're on TV and talking about such personal things, it can have a massive impact on you.
Following the government's inquiry, more pressure was placed on productions to provide a higher level of care for its contributors.
Personally, I don't think that the show exploited vulnerable people. I know a lot of people do say that. However, I feel like the show did give people a chance to tell their story, and it gave people a chance to do things or get things that they wouldn't have necessarily had the opportunities to get. However, I do think that there could be more steps that reality shows could take to properly protect its participants when they come out of the show.
Olivia Butler-Fagbohun was one of the first participants to experience reality television in its newly scrutinised state, when she took part in BBC Three's House Share less than a month after the inquiry was conducted.
The aftercare I received, it was really helpful. We had a psychologist ready to see us after the show just to make sure we weren't off the rail.
The positive aspects were the confidence I gained from it and the lessons I learned from the people around me. It definitely made me more happy being in my own skin.
Olivia has mixed feelings when it comes to exploring the link between mental health and reality TV.
It's sticky because as much as reality TV is a good thing because it makes people more comfortable with the way they look and sexuality and so forth, I do also think that they have to take responsibility for all these deaths. And I think because being someone that has suffered with mental health, I think it's more the mental health side that's ultimately got neglected, because we can all feel a certain way but not speak about it. And it's that not speaking about it that perpetuates it even more. Once we all as a society understand, the needs of treating mental health and how important it is, then I think media wouldn't be an issue, reality TV wouldn't be an issue because we're all educated.
Now, with the nation closely inspecting reality programmes, it appears almost certain that contestant welfare will be at the forefront of discussions for the foreseeable future. If you are affected by any of the issues raised during this discussion, help can be provided through Public Health England by visiting the gov.uk website for more information. So far throughout the show, you've heard from a number of people with fairly recent experiences of reality TV, but now it's time to look back at the origins of it all in a segment I like to call
Back to Reality. In today's Blast from the Past, we're rewinding reality back to a time before social media by reflecting on the cultural diversity in television at the beginning of the 21st century.
At the time, reality TV was quite a new concept for society to digest, and not much was known about the genre. People had almost no idea of what to expect and had very little understanding of the impact it would go on to have.
But for one person, they hold the unique distinction of experiencing what it was like to be the first ever reality contestant to represent the Asian community on a national scale.
My name is Narinda Kaur and I was a contestant on Big Brother 2001.
Narinda took part in the second series of Big Brother almost 20 years ago, when the show was still in its roots.
At that point, I wasn't aware that I was the first Asian woman ever to go in the house. Asian person, actually. There was no Asian person who'd ever been in the house. And I remember telling my brother, and he goes, but that program's really rude. He goes, you're going to have to be careful. They were naked, and it was going back 20 years. It was a big deal. So I thought I've got to be a bit careful with what I wear and what I say. But that kind of goes out the window once you're in the house.
Throughout the show, many of her fellow contestants found it difficult to pronounce her Indian name correctly.
I think if Big Brother was on now, that would be such a big deal. I remember bubbling them, I'd say, what religion are you? They didn't even know what Sikh was. And they say, Sikham here, Sikham there, Sikham everywhere. And they couldn't say Narinda.
They just keep getting my name wrong. I mean, why? It's simple. Lorinda, Serena, Surinda, Narina. Have they never met an Asian person before?
They were always at me. They couldn't say my name. They didn't know what Sikhs were. They didn't know what this was. They didn't know what that was. And the British public didn't know why I moaned. Why are you whinging about that? But these days, you're supposed to do that and you'd be hailed a hero. Shilpa Shetty was hailed a hero. I was too ahead of my time. People didn't get a strong Indian woman.
The response of the Asian community was something that Narinda also had to deal with.
The
The Asian community was weird because I got a bit of support from Sikhs, but I got a lot of bad headlines as I wore a bikini, and I was also reading our holy book, so I got a lot of backlash for that. But I had a lot of support as well. Like, loads of people were very supportive. I found Muslims more supportive than I did my own. Up until me being on TV, a lot of Asian women were shown on TV as being timid, quiet. We never saw a loudmouth, opinionated Asian woman.
Without the existence of social media, housemates from the earlier series received a lot of attention from the press.
The press were horrible to Big Brother people. It was horrible. I'm not sure how many people could take that. You'd have to be so strong to be able to take that much abuse from the press.
After leaving the most famous house in Britain, life changed dramatically as she was thrust into the celebrity limelight.
You don't know, you're being watched by millions. And even famous people, I remember Kylie Minogue wanted to meet me because she'd watched me. And I kept thinking, when did you watch me and why?
I wonder which celebrity guy's watching saying I love Narinder.
Stevie Wonder?
As a contestant, you have no power when you come out the house. Because when you're that super famous overnight and you're looking at like 10, 20 million people in total have watched you, you can't just go back and work in Asda. It doesn't work like that. You become unemployable. There's nothing worse than being famous and poor. These days, like Love Island contestants, they're making a bomb because of social media and Instagram, and they become influencers. We never had that. We had no income.
As the years have progressed, reality TV has changed a lot since the early 2000s.
It was more organic nowadays and it was more raw, but these days it's just so much easier, and people really know the game when they're going in there. They know what they can say, they know what they can do. They're fake. It's fake. Whereas back in our day they used to say it was fake, but it wasn't. Reality TV really was real.
Nowadays, Narinder lives a relatively normal existence compared to her Big Brother days, although she still gets recognised from time to time.
Still to this day, because I'm like 47 now, if you think about it, it's 19 years for me, I still get people saying, oh my God, hi Narinder. And I think, oh my God, because I forget I was in Big Brother. Then they'll say, oh no, you don't know me, I know you from the telly. And there's me trying to rack my brains from where I know them from, and if I'm being rude.
With reality TV constantly evolving, it seems almost impossible to predict what the industry will look like in another 20 years' time.
Behind the reality.
With Takudzwa
and Hayden.
Over the years, many people have claimed that reality TV reinforces negative stereotypes surrounding black women. Numerous contestants have spoken out about being misrepresented and feeling typecast as the angry black woman, also known as ABW.
Additionally, concerns are also growing over the consequences of colorism within the media. Colorism refers to prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, whilst those with a lighter complexion are treated more favourably. Typically, this is generated by people within the same ethnic or racial group.
The issue is something that more black women are now having to consider before appearing on popular reality shows that millions of people will watch.
My name's Priscilla Inyabu, and I was a contestant of Series 6 on Love Island.
Priscilla was the first woman of Ugandan heritage to participate in Love Island when she took part in the winter series earlier this year. As a dark-skinned black woman, she had some initial reservations about whether her involvement in the show would open up the door for unwanted remarks about her skin tone.
If anyone asks me, what is your biggest fear on Love Island, it's hands down, I thought people were going to say this girl's too black. She's not even good looking, she's too dark. Colorism is real. It is so real, and I thought I was going to get the downside of that.
Presenting herself in a truthful and meaningful way was a significant part of her experience.
The thing that was on my mind is I just want to make sure that I am a good representation of black women, because I've seen the experiences that they've had on Love Island. So I just wanted to make sure that I was just as true to myself as I can be. I just didn't want anyone to have anything bad to say. And usually my character, people don't. So I thought, what better way than to just be myself.
An OkCupid study conducted over a 5-year period found that black women were rated consistently lower than other ethnic and racial groups on dating apps. This corresponds with the difficulties that a number of black women have faced when trying to find a romantic partner on reality dating shows.
In the ordinary world, you're kind of thinking, do boys like you? But then you notice that when it comes to Love Island, there's always a specific type of boy that kind of likes a specific girl. And I knew that I most likely would not fall into that category. So I was worried that that might be the issue. But in my case, I was lucky and I got Mike.
In the show, Priscilla coupled up with fellow Islander Mike, who was also of African descent.
She's smart, she's articulate, and she always speaks with wisdom. I know that she's making me a better man. So the girl I want to couple up with is Priscilla.
The representation of a healthy black relationship on TV was something that felt important to her.
I think it's very important that a positive black couple is shown in the world. I just wanted to show that it's real, it can happen. I don't force black love on anyone. You can love whoever you want to love. But if it does happen, it can happen in a beautiful way. And the thing I like about Mike is that he wasn't afraid to show his emotions, which I think that men in general, as well as black men, are really afraid to do.
You know, I said it would have taken someone special, and literally, surprise, surprise.
Here I am.
I feel like black couples always seem to be toxic, and especially with all of this black shaming that's been going on Twitter, it was just nice to show that, hey, we still do care about one another.
The positive portrayal of a dark-skinned black woman on reality television was something that resonated with audiences.
Surprisingly, everyone actually loved my skin and loved my complexion. So for people to then come out and just be like sending me messages in my DMs, thanking me for my representation and things like that is such a huge shock, because I'm just like, I haven't done anything other than be me.
Brown skin, you know I love your brown skin.
I was reading one the other day and it filled my heart with joy. It was just a girl just saying about how she's kind of just been battling with her whole colour and loving herself. But after seeing me on TV, she was just like, wow, we are here, we do exist, and we can love ourselves. And she was like, you helped me see that, you helped me get that. Because if you walk outside on the street, you'll see all different ethnicities. So it would be nice just to see that on the TV too. Because I think I was definitely that girl that growing up, I was insecure, didn't love myself. So being able to blossom into myself and then go out into the world and give people the strength to do exactly what I did is just amazing.
Although far from perfect, it seems that progress is slowly being made with regards to the treatment of black women in reality TV.
You're listening to Behind the Reality.
My name's Olivia Durando and I was a contestant on Shipwrecked 2019. My question for you is, which popular radio DJ was the narrator for Shipwrecked 2019? A. Clara Anko, B. Vic Hope, or C. Maya Jama? The correct answer was B. Vic Hope.
We've nearly reached the end of what we think has been an informative and enlightening episode for you to enjoy.
But before we bring today's show to a close, we wanted to give you the opportunity to send our experts and stars any burning questions you may still have. Let's hear some of the questions that you submitted for this edition of our Reality Roundtable.
My name's Vanessa and I have a question for Narinda. What was it like living in lockdown inside the Big Brother house?
Really, really hard. I mean, people think this lockdown you can still FaceTime people and phone people and listen to the radio, put the telly on. We didn't have any telephones, any TV. Like, I remember literally you were allowed one photograph of loved ones and you'd start looking at it, and it was a bit like that scene in Back to the Future where the faces start disappearing. We had no idea what was going on in the outside world at all.
My name's Georgia and my question is for Emma. Why do you think reality TV shows are so popular?
It's part of human nature to seek what looks nice, but you also watch it because you kind of want to see how these people change and develop and also fight each other, and it brings out that part of, I suppose, that awful natural selection in human beings where we like things a certain way and we aspire to have it, or we like judging.
My name's Tom and I have a question for Liv. How difficult were the living conditions on Shipwrecked?
We had nothing. We were literally weeing into a hole on the floor. We were sleeping on the floor. There was rats all over the island, all over our food. We'd wake up and there was a poisoned crab above my head in the middle of the night. People think it was easy and we got this and that, and behind the scenes we did get fed. No, we didn't. We did have it hard.
My name's Renee and my question is for Priscilla. What projects have you been working on since Love Island?
I'm actually currently working on an initiative called Take Care 50, which is basically an initiative to give back to hardworking nurses. We're just creating little pamper packages, little care packages to give to 50 nurses around London, just so that they can relax and feel good after a hardworking day or on their day off. So that's what I'm working on. Other than that, I feel like because of quarantine, everything's on hold, but doing a bit of YouTube, a bit of content, but that's about it for now.
A big thanks to all of you who sent in your questions for some of our experts and reality stars, as that brings our show nicely to a close. We'd like to say a massive thank you to all of those who have taken part in today's episode, and hope you've enjoyed listening to some of the fascinating stories shared throughout the show.
From the psychology of reality TV to the state of mental well-being, we've been able to explore a range of diverse topics with people from some of the biggest reality shows in the country. They've given us an incredible insight into race, religion, sexuality, and much more. So we hope you can come away from our show feeling satisfied with what you were able to learn.
If you're still craving your Behind the Reality fix, you can head over to the official Behind the Reality YouTube channel and audio streaming services to listen to the exclusive extended interviews from all of the guests featured in this episode.
And by using the hashtag Behind the Reality, you can get in touch with us to let us know who you would like to hear from on the next edition of the show.
Until next time, remember, stay safe, be kind, and always think about what's behind the reality.
Real people, real stories, real life.
Behind the Reality.